cricket has such a long, fascinating history. And one of the really cool things that we can do now is take a look back through all the different generations of players and see the very, very best from all the different eras. And I really like that aspect of collecting cards, but also just learning the history is who were the greatest players. And, nowadays, these names jump out at us, right? We know all these names up here on the top. And um, it's amazing that a guy named like Coley, for example, was only the greatest batter in the world in Test cricket twice. Steve Smith 3 times, Kane Williamson twice, Joe Root this year his first ever time being the number one ranked batter. But one of the things I like to do is just look through that, look at the history. Hey, who are the best in the world? Did you realize that R. Ashwin and Al Hassan have been the best all rounders? How about Jadeja the last 3 years in a row? Cummins 4 years in a row as the top bowler, and now Bumrah dominating. But you learn some fascinating things when you go through the history. You learn that McGraw was the best bowler in the world quite a few times, more even than Shane Warne was. Sachin does not show up on this list that many times because there were other great batsmen that he was competing against that wanted their spots. Sangakkara and Ponting and Dravid and Lara, Hayden. So anyway, that's a long lead in, but I really do enjoy going back, and I put this spreadsheet together, which I got this information from ICC. They have annual ratings. It's really an ongoing rating. But at the end of the year, there's a batter, bowler, and an all-rounder that's the number one ranked. And this goes all the way back to 1882, which is pretty incredible. You'll see names like W.G. Grace on the list, many others, the Demon Bowler, Spofford. What I did was put a very, very simple spreadsheet together with counts of how many times a player was the top batter, all-rounder, and bowler. And there's some fascinating things that come out of this. And I'll just share a few, and then I'll tie it back to cards because I do have some very, very cool pickups that are kind of related to this list here. But one cool thing, Gary Sobers is the only batter to be ranked number one in the world, 12 years. He's also the only player to ever be the number one ranked all-rounder, 12 different years. So that's a pretty impressive history there. Callis, number two with 11, and you can see the other great names on here. Wally Hammond is not often mentioned as one of the greatest all-rounders, but it just shows you how long his reign at the top of the all-rounder list was. And how about for the batsmen? Sobers, Hobbs, and Bradman. Hobbs and Bradman, it's not really fair to them because their primes got interrupted by wars. So I'll actually show you that real quick just to let you know what I mean. So Jack Hobbs was the best batter in the world in 1914, and then cricket didn't get played from 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. That's 5 full years with no cricket, and when it started back up again, who's number one? Hobbs for the next 3 years, actually 7 of the next 8 years. So Hobbs easily could have been the best batter in the world those 5 years as well, which would have given him 15 different years or 16 different years as the best batter, which is just an incredible longevity. So when they talk about Hobbs being one of the greats, I mean, it's hard to argue with that level of dominance. Especially when people will say, Sachin was the best ever. He was fantastic, but there were a lot of great batters in that era that really, stats-wise and just from an accomplishments perspective, were right up there with them. You can't say the same thing about a Hobbs, a Bradman, or a Sobers. So, same thing with Bradman here. So Bradman was the best batter in the world in 1931. By the way, Sutcliffe was the only guy that kind of bridged the gap between Hobbs and Bradman. Sutcliffe is another very underrated batter that had a fantastic long career. But here you go. Bradman comes up, and he's the best batter in the world until 1939. And then we have 1940, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. That's 6 years that there's no cricket. So no Bradman in those years. And he comes back, and he's still the best batter in the world for 2 years after that. Um, so, you know, Bradman also could have been the best batter in the world for 16 years. So, there's just some cool history here, and I like looking at that. So back to the cards I want to show you today. I really enjoy early cards of great players. When I can find a rookie card of a Hall of Famer or a Hall of Fame quality player, I will jump on that. And then if it's a rare card or a hard to find card, then that's even more exciting for me. So I'm going to go through 4 new pickups that are all extremely big for me, and ones that you're not going to see very often. The first is an Aussie all-rounder named Hugh Trumbull, and take a look at that run. Trumbull was the number 1 ranked all-rounder 4 years in a row. He was the number 1 ranked bowler in the world 6 years in a row. So that's just a really incredible run, and it started in 1899, and his rookie card is from a very rare and valuable set, and it's very hard to find these in even like a PSA 2 grade. Typically the bottoms of these are cut off. The Ogden cigarettes would be cut off because there were tabs that would be sent in for things. But this is a just fantastic card that I got in a lot of other great condition cards here. That is Trumbull's rookie card, 1898-99. So right at the start of his run. And funny enough, I actually have done some deals with Trumbull's grandson, who still lives in Australia and still has the Trumbull last name. And he told me some cool stories about his grandfather, and I bought a Trumbull card off him as well. But there's the Trumbull rookie card that I've been looking for a while. So when Trumbull was no longer the number 1 all-rounder in the world, who came in and took his spot? Monty Noble, Hall of Fame Aussie again, who was now the number 1 ranked all-rounder for, what's that, 7 years? And just to put it in perspective, 7 years as the number 1 ranked all-rounder. There's not too many guys that have ever matched that before. So there you go. Monty Noble comes in for 7 years, and same set, Monty Noble's rookie card. And again, just exquisite condition. You're not going to see too many of those. Diamond cut, but really, really, really nice. So another fantastic rookie card there. And then when Monty Noble's run was done, actually, let's go back to the bowling side. When Trumbull was done, Wilf Rhodes comes in, and Wilf Rhodes was considered an all-rounder and another fantastic all-rounder, but he was the number 1 ranked bowler in the world a couple years. He was one of the top 3 or 4 batters in the world, and one of the top 3 or 4 all-rounders in the world, really for his whole career. So again, this one's maybe a little bit lower condition than the other ones. It's got a little bit of staining, maybe a little bit more rounded corners, but another great example from this set. So there you go. That's three rookie cards of 3 greats. The Rhodes I have been looking for heavily for about 4 years. Would have been happy with a poor condition, but obviously ecstatic with one with the tab in pretty nice condition. And then one last one on the all-rounder side. Once Monty Noble finished his run, Aubrey Faulkner came in, South African. And again, just like Hobbs I mentioned earlier, Faulkner's prime, and by the way, he was also the number 1 ranked bowler at this point. This is when World War I happened, so Faulkner also could have potentially had more years as both the top all rounder and the top bowler. He also was the top batter in the world in 1911. So he's actually the only player in history that was the number one ranked bowler at one point and the number one ranked batter at one point. And this is Faulkner's rookie card. Another really tough one to get. This is the 1908, 1907, 1908 South African team Taddies. So I have the Hobbs rookie card from Taddies, which is a slightly different set. The design is slightly different. It's from the same era, though, same year or two. But this is another card I've been looking for years, and I missed one or two on eBay, but finally got it. So there you go. I mean, you've got right there four of the absolute greatest all-rounders of all time, all of their rookie cards, and it's interesting. The history from these olden days is not very well known in modern cricket circles. And I was talking to a South African friend who was talking about how for the South African cricket fans, not many of them know stuff from before the 1990s. It's almost like cricket didn't exist before then. And there's a name to know. I think that everybody, especially if you're a South African cricket fan, but any cricket fan should know these names. So there you go. And while we're at it, I also picked up this Kapil Dev rookie card from 1980, and figured that would make sense to add to this video too, just because we're talking about the great all-rounders of all time. But man, like Dev was a great player, but look at that. He was only the number one all-rounder twice. And when you think about Trumbull, when you think about Faulkner, you think about Monty Noble, it's pretty incredible.